Hello, good evening. Happy Monday evening. So I don't know about you, but where I am, it's cold and a little snowy today. So we had, 2 or 3 inches of snow over the last 24 hours. So it's been interesting to get around a little bit today. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is a little bit about kind of transitioning from different things in life and how we kind of deal with those transitions. When you think about going from one thing to the next in your life, maybe, getting up in the morning and, getting ready for whatever your day is happening, whatever's happening in your day, do you, ever pause and think about kind of what's going to happen for the day and maybe think about how you can plan for certain things throughout the day? Say you're, have a meeting at work or have to go do something with your kids at their school or something like that, and think about kind of what your day is going to be like as you go throughout the day. And, the kind of rush and to stay busy all day kind of mentality is something that it just makes it makes our bodies kind of overstressed and having to worry about so many things. Some of that is we have kind of the availability of information or kind of being online or connected all the time because we have like a little computer in our hand all day where we can look at Facebook or answer emails or talk to someone on the phone, all of those things you do on your phone now. Whereas, I don't know how many years ago, used to have this kind of, the computer was at home on the desk and we never took it anywhere. And we even, didn't have a phone in our car with us. And so, it's like all of these things now are so available. And in this day and age, we're so used to having things so available that taking time to just sit and be quiet is really difficult for many of us, myself included, because it's just hard to just sit and do nothing. I know today I didn't have too much in schedule on because this is my day off from work, and I had a couple of meetings, but beyond that I didn't have much, and I was kind of a little discombobulated because I'm used to constantly having something going on, and I realized that I need to learn to just be quiet and not do anything. So I, left the TV off for a while. I probably did nothing. Now I did work on a jigsaw puzzle, but it was something kind of mindless and I didn't constantly have something interrupting me throughout probably at least an hour. I did that. So I think when you think about transitioning from one part of your life to another, say you're get your kids off to school or you're going to work, maybe, take a minute or two to just sit and be quiet and do nothing before you transition to the next thing so that your body and your soul have time to catch up to what the next thing is. If you think about kind of, if you've ever done any kind of long travel, maybe, in an airplane for several hours, you get somewhere and the time difference and you're kind of discombobulated for a day or two trying to figure out, what time of day it is and what time you should be getting up to do whatever, So all of those things kind of keep us constantly moving. So if you take a moment and pause and just remember that you can take a moment, kind of do just, if you need to take just a minute to pause and just kind of take a deep breath and think about, what your day is like and how you can unwind in that day, and maybe, turn the notifications on your device off for just a couple minutes so that you're not interrupted, because it's so hard, even when you have your phone next to you and you have some sort of notifications turned on that it beeps at you constantly. You don't really have that moment to just kind of pause and listen. So maybe kind of creating space for transitions from one to another. Say like maybe you're waiting in line at the grocery. And so instead of kind of burying your face in your phone, kind of reading whatever, email or Facebook or whatever, maybe just look around and talk to the person next to you, or at least say hello, and, kind of people watch for a moment. So many times I've kind of done that a little bit recently, started kind of watching other people in a restaurant or whatever. And it's like everybody's looking at their phone and not really talking to each other or looking around and, seeing what's going on in the area, so we just don't really see things as much as we used to. We're inside all the time. We just don't spend as much time outside enjoying the outdoors. When you kind of have all of these demands on your life and you just don't take the time to kind of figure out what it is that your body needs or your soul needs, and kind of having communion with God and with nature, and figuring out, how you can slow down and enjoy those times. And then you want to think about, the people that you love and the relationships that you have. There's this, I've read this book about finding your people, and having everybody has, a close relationship with just very few people, so less than 5 people. But if you think about years and years ago, there was kind of this, people have kind of this village of people that they were able to kind of rely on and have contact with. And we just don't really have that as much anymore. I've been really lucky that I've had kind of this village of people that are close to me, my family. But there aren't very many people that have that kind of village anymore. So you want to think about how you can look for that village in the people that you're around. So, it doesn't have to be a family member, but you could have this village of neighbors or, co-workers, people that you are around a lot that you could rely on for things like, just social interaction, or if you need help with your kids, or if your car breaks down, those kinds of things, so that you have someone to be in contact with. And, it's been interesting to think about that, and who do we rely on for those kinds of things if you have problems with your health or with your kids, and you need someone back up to kind of help you do things, then who do you call or rely on? So, having kind of this village of people that you can contact or rely on to help you to do the things that you need to do from day to day. And the only way to have that village of people is to be in contact with people and spending the time to build those relationships. And the only way that we're going to do that is to take the time to build those relationships, and and not have this kind of rushed life constantly, and have kind of no time or energy to help or be around for other people. I know that, over the last few months, I've been more and more, reducing things that I'm responsible for. So not working as many hours and that kind of thing. So I think that if you find time that you can say no to things and not have your schedule so full. You can find time to have more community with other people and community with your religious organization or your church or with God in your own time. Those kinds of relationships are just as important. And having time to enjoy the sunshine, or see the animals in the outside, or do you have a pet that you would like to spend time with? And so all of those things kind of, you have to slow down and learn to kind of prioritize those kinds of things. So when you think about having kind of slowing down and prioritizing those kinds of things, what is it that you can cut out of your schedule? Maybe think about the 2 or 3 things that are really important to you that you just don't want to give up. And then maybe there's a few things that you do out of what you feel is obligation. And maybe decide, is it really important that you continue to do that, or can you give that up? So remembering, what's your priority, what your kind of core values are. Is it, your immediate family or your friends or your job, or, what is it that's really important to you that you want to be sure that you have time to do? And also for yourself, you want to remember that you need time for yourself to kind of have that transition. Say you're, on your way home from work and you're transitioning from the work to home, and you kind of need to let go of things that are from work. So you can either, after 5 or 10 minutes of when you're driving in your car, or maybe as soon as you get to your car, just take a couple of minutes to take some deep breaths and kind of think about your day if you want to do that. And what is it that you're kind of lingering in your body or in your mind that you're thinking about? For those of us in healthcare, sometimes it's thinking about kind of the people that you took care of that day, or maybe you saw someone that is struggling in their life and you had to help with that. A coworker or somebody having difficulties in their life, and you're trying to help all of these other people. So when you think about that and you go straight from being, at work and go home, sometimes it's hard to let go of those things. You kind of think about it in your mind over and over again. What could I have said differently, or how could I have done something differently for a different outcome? So maybe if you take a moment, and it doesn't have to be, half an hour or anything like that, maybe just take 1 or 2 minutes to just kind of think about your day and kind of take some deep breaths and let that go for the day, so that you don't take all of that home with you to your family and your core people that you're around all the time. So, and learning to kind of reach out to people that are important to you if you're struggling with that kind of overwhelm from your job, or taking care of your kids, or maybe you have responsibilities for your elderly parents, and now you kind of have kids and your parents and your own husband or spouse or significant other, trying to juggle all of those things. Who do you have that you can kind of reach out to talk to, or help you with a busy schedule? And that's what I was talking about with the village of people. We want to kind of be sure that we're in contact with people on a regular basis, so that we always have someone to talk to, or be in communion with, and be able to talk about those things that maybe you can't talk about to your family and maybe have a friend that you can talk to and bounce things off of, because sometimes your family is a little too close to maybe something that you want to talk about, so you need kind of this village of people to be able to reach out to and be able to have a relationship with. And that doesn't happen overnight or just spending 5 or 10 minutes every few months. It's just difficult to keep a relationship like that. So you want to, think about that. Who is it that's in your life that you really want to kind of spend more time with, to develop a deeper relationship with, and maybe, call somebody on the phone and say, hey, I'm looking for someone to be my person, or just trying to develop a deeper relationship with, and I thought of you, and this is what I'm looking for, and are you interested in doing that? I know sometimes it's hard to do that because you kind of have this feeling that, I'm not sure that I can do this, or I'm not sure that they'll be interested in being that person. But it doesn't hurt to ask and, find that person. And if you have that person already, someone that you can call and talk to and that kind of thing, you want to make sure that you continue to be in contact with them, because it's hard to have that kind of relationship with someone if you only see them, every 6 months or something. You don't really have any kind of relationship with them. And then when you think about kind of how those people help you and how you help them, the two of you have this relationship, or 3 or 4, whatever it is, then you have kind of this help with connection and have someone to talk to if you're in a space or a place where you need someone to talk to. Because all of us have times in our lives where things are difficult, and you just want to be able to have someone to reach out to and be able to have that communion, or that relationship just takes time. And you want to remember that it's human nature for us to want all of our problems to just go away. And you might have a loss in your family, or a divorce, or you have to move to a different city, and all of those things make it harder kind of to take care of ourselves, or to kind of move from one thing to another. So you want to just make sure that you have kind of the support of other people to be able to get through those things. So kind of you have to have somewhere to be able to unload those emotions so that you're able to deal with them. And there's no set way to deal with those. Sometimes you have to talk to other people, or sometimes you just want to be alone and you kind of sit out in nature, and that sometimes can help. Or maybe you need to see a counselor or something like that, and there's nothing wrong with needing that. So it's like sometimes we just have this kind of fear of feeling and not letting those emotions out and not feeling those emotions. And we use all kinds of things to cover up emotions, food and staying busy and alcohol, all of those things kind of cover up emotions. So you want to make sure that you continue to reach out and think about ways of coping that will help you to move through whatever it is you're dealing with. So, if you are able to, maybe you can pray about that and ask God to bring you someone that you would like to have, as that person that you can talk to. Or, talk to friends or coworkers, or there's all kinds of people in our lives that we can reach out to help. So you just have to be open to and vulnerable, because it is sometimes hard to be able to talk to someone that maybe you're not real close to, but you want to develop a relationship with. So learning to be that person so that you can find that person. So, being that person for someone else. So learning that over time, it just takes, some patience and being open to continuing a relationship. Maybe you just text someone every single day and say, hey, I'm thinking about you, or call them every few days and, ask what's going on. Be that person for someone else so that they can be that for you, and figuring out what it is that you need so that you can be that person for someone else. And the only way to do that is to kind of sit with feelings and emotions and understanding what it is that you need so that you can help to give that to other people to get that back. And that can be even in with your significant other, learning, if you need kind of something different that they're not giving you, maybe if you give that to them first, they'll be able to kind of have this open relationship and have a deeper relationship with your significant other too. So just finding different ways to talk to people and be there for someone else, and being open and vulnerable to have that relationship with all kinds of people, because we all need different people in that, girlfriends or other friends to be able to talk to, and our significant other, my husband, those kinds of people, my kids, I'm very open, my parents, it's like I have all these people that I talk to at a couple, some women friends that I'm really close to. So having that kind of relationship just takes work. And sometimes you have to, keep open communication with people to have that. So let's figure out ways that we can reach out to someone this week. Maybe someone that you haven't talked to for a while that you really want to be in touch with, or someone that you are in touch with, but maybe you haven't talked to them for a few days or a couple weeks or something. Maybe think about someone that you would like to get in touch with over the next week or so, and just start building more of those relationships. And if you need any help with that, or have any ideas that you want to bounce off of someone, I'm willing to talk to anyone about that. So, you can message me and those kinds of things. I'm open to helping people to kind of figure out where they want to go next. So, so hopefully you'll have a good week this week, and we'll get some more snow, I think, later in the week here in Ohio, if that's where you're living. And, so I'll talk to you again next week.